Yo, yo, yo. Check, mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Episode 5. We're back. It's Matt and my awesome co-host from on the other side of the country, Lana. How are you doing?
I am doing fantabulous. I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing blessed. I've had a great week. School is out.
You said I'm doing blessed?
I did.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure. I just want to make sure what you said was right.
School is out.
I know. You've been so stressed out, and I'm really happy for you.
Yeah, I know.
How many hours were you working a day?
I was like at about 11 hours or so. My neck was tweaked. It's just end of the year stuff. It's just out of control. And I'm just glad it's over because I can completely focus on things like our stuff, our entertainment. This is what I want to do right now. And I finally have the time.
Well, which is not, a bad thing. I mean, you've been working very hard, but I know you've been very stressed out with school. So FYI, kids out there, don't think it's all fun and games because you have the summer off, because during the work year, you are busy.
Yes, you are very busy.
So I don't want to be a teacher. Sorry. But I applaud you, Lana. Clap, clap.
It's a calling. It definitely is.
It is. And I can't do that. I can't. Well, my week has been, well, actually, work-wise has been very meh. It's the same. But outside of that, we have so much to talk about. I mean, there's so much to talk about.
We need to get started right now.
Oh, we do. Cue the music. Oh, okay. We don't have that. Sorry. Keep going. Oh, okay, by the way, before we get started, we got a lot of feedback about your Grimlock impression.
Oh.
So, would you want to do that for the audience again?
Oh my gosh.
I'm calling you out.
Because I'm laughing.
I'm calling you out right now.
Okay. Me Grimlock.
I'm sorry. I almost choked on my spit. Okay. So this is an announcement going forward. Lana will be doing the rest of the podcast in Grimlock speak.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know how, because it's all... Is Ebonics a word?
Ebonics. Is Ebonics a word?
Yes.
Oh,
wow. See, Berkeley, there was a whole class.
Oh, is it really?
Dedicated. Anyways, I can't.
Is there a virtual class? I would like to take that.
It was, it
focus,
was
Fox.
Yes, focus.
Okay, all right.
Blast from the past, blast from the past.
The tradition that we have every week, as Lana just said, is blast from the past. And this week, we're talking about our first convention. So, Lana, what was your first convention? How did you hear about it? What made you want to go to a convention?
Well, the convention I really want to talk about is Comic-Con.
Right.
I want to talk about Comic-Con.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get that excited. Those words do something to me.
So, I know. So here's what happened. I'm online and I'm just looking at stuff, and there's this convention that they have in LA every other month. And it's really cool. It's just sci-fi comic stuff at the Forum. So I was looking and I was like, what is this Comic-Con you speak of? So I'm doing my little research, as I tend to do on everything. And I was saying, oh, look, they have a big convention in San Diego. Knew nothing about it. This was going on 4 years ago.
Right.
And I saw it and I was like, oh, I'd like to go. And so the year after, I got in a little bit late. And so the year after that, I just kind of kept reminding myself to look at it. And this was before the madness of the badges. This was before
the commercialization.
This was before you had to actually have a team of people like we did to get our badges.
Right. How many people do we have?
Did we have something like that? There were people in the background. We had all together, maybe 8 devices running at the same time. We were on a conference call. But we all got in. So
it was serious.
Don't hate. So I looked at it and I'm the type of person who I'll go solo somewhere. I don't care if I'm going to do something. I'm just going to go, whether it be travel or whatever. So I did the research, found a lot of really good information and really nice people on the main SDCC page, and I just decided to go, and I booked my hotel and I booked my travel. Didn't know anything about how to line up, didn't know anything about anything, and got into every panel that I wanted because I researched it to death.
Wow.
Okay.
Good for you.
So I just did it and it was fun. And I didn't really meet anybody because I'm not the type to go and be like, hey, what's up? What show do you like? That's just not me.
That's fair.
And I was fine though. I was good.
And then you met me.
And then
I mean, there's nothing else to be said. The podcast is
that's
over.
okay. Right. Mic drop. Good night.
Good night, and we're here. This is how we got here. All right. Okay. No.
Yes.
For me,
Yours.
I heard of Comic Con. It's 2013. I heard of Comic Con like in 2004.
Oh.
Like I knew of it, and maybe because I mean, being from Indianapolis, we have Gen Con, which is a huge convention, big Star Wars convention,
Oh.
and which I've never been to. I'm so sorry, anyone out there that's from Indy. Please don't take away my geek card. I am actually going this year, I promise. But I heard about it, I believe, through Gen Con, and I just knew the moment I saw it, I'm like, this is where these are my people. And I know that sounds kind of cliche, but it's like from comics to movies. I mean, I guess when it became very commercialized, but you know, I read comics and I loved obviously I love Marvel and I was really into it. So over the years I kept saying I want to go, I want to go, and in college I said I would go. And I actually went out to LA with my roommate at the time, and Comic-Con was going on in San Diego, and I just couldn't get down there. Like, I couldn't catch a bus or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, when I graduate, the first big trip I'm going to take is, or graduate from college, the first big trip I'm going to take is to Comic-Con. And I got my tickets, I guess, so for the public, because you had already went, Lana.
Yes.
So I got my tickets in the public transactions, and I only got Thursday and Sunday.
Oh, okay.
And that was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. So I am telling everyone out there, if you only have a ticket for Friday, if you only just have one day, do not fret. You have to
Just
go.
go. There's so much to do. It really doesn't matter. I mean, the entire of downtown San Diego is turned into a big nerd festival. So just because you can't get into the actual convention, number one, it doesn't mean that you're not gonna see the cast of your favorite show. It doesn't mean that you're not gonna meet the game developers or the comic artists that you want to meet. They
Right.
are all over. They're literally walking amongst
They
us.
are. And if you follow them on Twitter, like we learned, Lana, last year, we follow everybody on Twitter. We were at the YouTube channel. We were at Petco Park. We were in all in Gaslamp. We were at Nerd HQ, which last year was in Block 16, which is a great, gorgeous looking bar
Yes,
club.
can't wait for this year.
I got you there a little late, so this year we're gonna have to go.
We'll be hanging out at Nerd
Yeah,
HQ.
we're
Yeah,
gonna be splitting our
absolutely.
time. But I mean, all of downtown Gaslamp is just nerded out. So there, even if like so Thursday, I had tickets for Thursday and Sunday. So of course Thursday I spent most of the day at the convention. But then Friday I heard about Nerd HQ, and we ended up going, and I fell in love with it. So when I wasn't there, or when I was at the actual convention itself, exhibit hall, I was at Nerd HQ. You had Joss Whedon there. Zachary Levi runs Nerd HQ. For those who don't know, it's like a mini Comic Con.
My
It's
Nathan was there.
Yeah, Nathan Fillion, who is Lana's everything. He's really good friends with Zachary Levi, so he was at almost every panel.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Joss Whedon was there.
Felicia Day, what did she have a panel? They had a lot of panels going on.
YouTube channel was right across the street. So we were walking past Petco Park, and she was literally like in touch. I walked past her and like brushed her shoulder. She was doing an interview
Wow.
outside the YouTube channel, and everyone was walking by her like she was like a regular person. And
Because she is a regular
but
person.
she has like 2 million followers on Twitter. Like she's a
I
big deal.
know.
So
She is a big
she
deal.
is she
Look,
is.
I'm like,
No, you're right.
she
Because
is a regular
I
person.
couldn't
She's a
believe
big deal.
I looked at her and I said, I can't believe that I mean, no one's like clamoring around her like get an autograph or anything. So yeah, there's just to kind of go back, there's no excuse why you can't go to Comic Con. Even if you just have one ticket, just you
Even if
should
you
go.
have no badges, just go hang out. I mean, if you can find a place to stay.
Right.
But
But that's not that's
that's a
not
whole
tied to
other
a badge though, right?
No,
Like the
it's not. It's
yeah.
not. If you can find a place to stay, I mean, it'll be a little kind of expensive now, but still, if you can do it, go on and do it. If you don't have a badge, it's just fun to be out there. I mean, Nerdist is out there.
Hmm.
like Matt said, YouTube, Nerd HQ, which you can still get tickets for. A lot of the panels or a lot of the some of the bigger celebs that they have going on at the convention end up at Nerd HQ. It's for a really, really good cause. All of the money that they make there goes to charity. I know they were doing Operation Smile last year,
Yeah, I think they're
but
continuing it this year too.
yeah, so it's for a good cause, and you know that your money is going, to some worthy kids.
Yeah.
So
So the more you know. So you should. Oh, and you get to see us.
yeah, I'm
that's
sorry,
that's
I
the
can't.
biggest bonus.
Yeah.
So do it. All right. So let's get back in. Let's get into this week because this week was jam packed.
Oh my God.
So let's start with. You guys know what's coming up. Let's start with Apple.
Do your Apple.
So,
Do it.
as you know, the Worldwide Developers Convention, our conference, I believe, was this week. It began on Monday, and usually in the beginning, 6, 7 years ago, they started unveiling the iPhone that day. iPhone 1, 2, 3, and now they've since then pushed that to the fall in its own little press release. But this one was big because they revealed, as Lana had alluded to 2 weeks ago, I think, iOS 7, which is a completely revamped operating system for the iPhone. I mean, it's gorgeous. Lana, have you seen the specs and what it looks
I
like?
have not seen the specs. Please educate me.
You got to look at it. Okay, I don't even know where to start. Well, the entire operating system is completely redefined. There's a lot more colors. It's a lot softer. Everything is what they call flat. So that's like tech jargon, 2013 tech jargon for
Mm-hmm.
simple. Everything is really pressed. There's no I don't know how to say it. It's just flat. It's very simple. But overall, the operating system, like if you swipe, you have to swipe up to unlock the phone. There's no
Swipe
swiper.
up
Yeah, there's
to
no
unlock.
actual like when you look on the iPhone now it says slide to unlock. There's not that anymore. It's just a slide up.
Oh
That's it.
wow.
And all the icons are completely redone. Like the messaging app is redone. If you slide up in on the actual home screen, you slide up. It'll slide up what they call a control center, which is 4 years too late. But I'm not gonna complain. But it has like all the key things like turning off Wi-Fi, turning on Bluetooth, putting your phone to sleep, orientation, volume, sound, brightness, like all the key features that you need on a day-to-day basis without going into the settings screen. Um, Multitasking has been like a step up to, I would say, almost true multitasking. So now not only do you see the box or the icon of, oh, I have Safari up, but it shows you what you have open in Safari. So it's like a
Mm.
live, let me say in quotations, like a live notification or live multitasking, which I think is really, really cool. Another thing is they redid photos. They added AirDrop, which is great because then I can drop things to you, Lana. So if you have an
Oh
iPhone, I
really?
can just
Okay, now I like that. I
yeah,
like that
so we can
feature.
share stuff really quickly. So if I have a picture I want to show you, like from E3 or anything like that, or Comic Con, like I can just drop it in this box, and then you'll get a notification saying Matt has dropped a picture in your box. So you want to open it, and then you just open it, and that's it. There's some other like a bunch of other things that they updated, but the biggest thing that I was excited about was iTunes Radio, which is
Tell me
or
about it.
iRadio. It's a
Hmm.
complete. It's 2 years late, but okay. I'm not gonna complain. Um, but it's so you got Pandora, who was the really big streaming,
Which I love, by the
which
way.
is
I
great.
I love it.
And they were really much a very much a monopoly in that market. And then you had Spotify that came out a couple years ago, which is really good as well. And finally, iTunes is officially making their way into the market with iTunes Radio. So now they have their own Spotify Pandora software or application, but it integrates fully into your iTunes. So you can listen to your own music, you can create your own playlist, you can create your own mixes on the streaming application, and then you can buy music, whatever you hear, you can buy it directly from iTunes. And it also is really cool is that it's only $25 a year, which is
Really?
cheaper than Spotify. I think it's I can't $4.99 a month. Um, but it's overall cheaper than the other streaming applications out there. So that's a really cool thing. Of course, don't expect any of this stuff until the fall, but I'm thoroughly excited. And I had to watch the 8-minute video, and it's all the soft, depressing music, because it is depressing music, about the application. But there was a funny thing, because I watched the keynote at work. Sorry, boss. They leaked. Someone had said, because I'm watching on CNET. Shout out to CNET, because they have the best live stream of iOS or WWDC every year.
Yes.
But while they were presenting the iOS 7, one of the commentators on the CNET blog said, "Is that an iPhone? Is that an iPhone that this is on? It doesn't look like an iPhone 5." And she
Hmm.
was right. Everyone was like, "No, it is iPhone 5. They just cropped it weird." No, that is an iPhone 6. iPhone
What
6
did it look like?
photos actually leaked onto the screen, that big screen at the conference, and no one knew about it. At least, from a third party, we didn't know about it. So they quickly removed those pictures. This is after the conference. They quickly removed those pictures from the PowerPoint and replaced them with actual iPhone 5. So we didn't see a lot, but like the edges look
Wow.
different. Like there was no home button, physical home button. So that's got people thinking like, okay, that has to be the iOS. I keep saying iOS. That has to be iPhone 5, 6. They just accidentally used it, or maybe purposely did. I don't know. Apple's an interesting bunch.
So I want to, so with this operating system, I'm still with the iPhone 4, not
Mm-hmm.
even a 4S.
Oh,
Okay. Because
Lord.
I just wait until I go 2 years of my little contract before I do anything. Because I'm just not that diehard. I just don't care that much.
That's fair.
So will this operating system be available to me, or do I need to have a newer iPhone version? Does it matter? Do we have that information? I'm just curious.
No, from what I saw, you can do it on iOS 4 and up.
Okay.
So from the keynote, it goes iOS 4 to now. Or I'm sorry, iPhone 4 to now, and I think second generation iPad to now. If I'm saying
Oh,
that, I don't have
okay.
an iPad, so I can't remember, but I believe
Right.
it's, and then iPods, whatever. But I believe it's second generation iPad up, and
Hmm.
then iPhone 4 up. But of course, with the iPhone 4, you're the last generation, so you'll have the least amount of features from iOS 7.
Yes.
You'll have like the bare bones, but then after that, you'll more than likely want to upgrade to iOS, or keep saying iOS, iPhone 5, 4S or 5 or 6, whatever.
Hmm.
But other than that, that was the big thing for me. But they also came out with what's called a Mac Pro, so it's the big desktop. I
Yeah,
think
I want to hear about that. Tell me about the Mac Pro. I've always kind of been lightweight thinking about switching over to Mac, and then I went on and got an HP. But I
well,
know, right?
I know. I tried to do a little research on this, and the Mac Pro it's the future of pro desktops, and it looks like it's the coolest looking thing I've ever seen. I mean, it just, you don't see a desktop like this, but it looks like a Mega Man energy capsule
Really?
from like back in the day. Like if you just painted it black, it kind of looks like that mixed with like maybe a coffee cup or something.
Uh-huh.
But it's a sleek. I mean, it's a bad design. I mean, they really. I sound like I'm like brown nosing, but they really, like, aesthetics wise, it's extremely gorgeous. I don't know too much about it. Like, I'm on the site now, but just off the top of the head,
Hmm.
up to 40 gigabytes per second PCI bandwidth, 12
Whoa.
cores processing power. Um, it's a
12
new,
cores?
yeah, 12 cores.
Oh, wow.
It can, what did they say? It can do up to 4 HDMI cords or plugins for the new, the new 4K TVs.
Yeah,
The new, I guess, are they
really?
Sony? The new Sony 4K, very, very high definition. They can support up to 4 of those.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's serious. Um,
This is not a game.
this is, yeah, it's dual GPU standard, set up to 7 teraflops of computing power. I'm just going through this kind of quickly, but um, I mean, just it's just so cool to look at. Like,
Do I need to sell my car to buy one?
they don't have a price yet. I don't think. I may be wrong. But they don't have a price. Let me see if I can find it pretty quickly. But from what I can see, of course, on the website, it just says
Hmm.
Mac Pro coming later this year.
Okay,
But
so there's no price point
right,
yet.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I don't know how much a Mac Pro is now. I wonder.
Well, they're one. I mean, honestly, Apple has always, they have their reasons, but they always have had some of the higher price computers. But there are a lot of things that you don't have to deal with Apples that you do have to deal with when you've got PCs. So
Right.
that's, it's kind of like a give and take. You're going to pay the money, but you're going to be saved a lot of headaches. So,
Yeah, I mean that's fair. When I bought my MacBook, it was I got a MacBook Pro 13 inch, which now I wish I had a 15 one, but um for what 1200 or 1100. But when I ended up leaving paying $1,500 because I got Microsoft Office and Apple 101 and all this. So, but I love it. I love it. My MacBook is now 2 years old, and the only thing I just did recently was upgrade the RAM
mhm.
because of the podcast and all that, all those applications. But other than that, I love it. But I grew up with a PC. I grew up with I had a compact in college freshman year that didn't even last the full year. It said it was Windows Vista compatible. Put in Windows Vista, it completely melted my motherboard.
What?
Yeah, it melted my motherboard. And then
Oh, wow.
I took it to Best Buy and they sent it to HP. Um, 9 weeks later, didn't hear anything. I'm in college, mind you. Like I need my computer. They told me that they were so backed up that they would just give me a voucher to get a new computer.
Wait.
Yeah, that's how HP was so backed up with maintenance that they just wrote me a check. And I was like,
Wow.
I need that hard drive, and they're like, sorry. They were like, you can sign up to request your hard drive, but it could be months before you get it.
That that is something. I mean, wow.
Yeah. So since then, I knew when I got a new computer, which was an HP, or no, it was a Gateway. When I got there, I was like, I'm going with a MacBook as soon as I can afford it. I'm getting a MacBook. So when I graduated, the first thing I got was a MacBook.
Well, that is quite the story. And wow, I know. I'm just
That's why I guess that
that's
kind of
a
explains.
nightmare. So no, you definitely have a valid reason for.
Yeah, I guess that explains why I love Apple so much. I mean, they've always treated me right. I've had
Yeah.
an Apple iPhone since they came out. I've had a MacBook for 2 years. I really cannot complain about. I know people hate on Mac or Apple. They hate on Samsung. They hate on PC. But from my point of view, from my customer point of view, I have not had one problem. Every time my iPhone has acted funny or acted up, I go into the Apple store. I'm only in there for 5 minutes.
See, and that's wonderful. And I like the fact that you can do appointments, and I like that they have little classes. They do a lot. So that's awesome.
They really excel in the experience. But
Yeah.
so okay, so that's that so that's part one of last week. So that was really it for a WWDC. But when Lana, when you get a chance, everyone, when you get a chance, definitely check it out. If you're thinking about switching to Apple, definitely check it out. It's basically like a brand new phone because the
Yeah.
entire operating system has been rebuilt from the ground up. Okay.
And I would like to just, keeping in with our tech theme, we had a big, 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 big gaming event. It's just, I can't help it. We need to talk about it now.
Wait. What about? Do you want to talk about that one company?
I want to talk about E3.
Oh, okay. All right.
I know. I know. I
I don't think people will really be mad about it, but okay. Blackberry.
know. Right.
Sorry.
We can wait.
That can wait for a couple months.
Right. It's just,
When we run out of things to talk about, we'll talk about that.
yeah. I want to move on to E3 because, oh my gosh, I mean, Console Wars 2013.
I think this was the best E3 I've ever seen.
This
Ever.
is just bananas. Like, first of all, I have to eat a little bit of crow because I kind of counted out Nintendo. Remember I said last week, I
Mm-hmm.
was like, you know what, boo Nintendo, whatever. I wasn't impressed with anything, but I have to say, and I think we also talked about the games, how they have the games that we all love,
Right.
which is part of the reason that they're so popular, and we said if they came up with the games,
We would buy a Wii.
then yeah,
Can
you
I tell you
know,
something?
it would come back. Okay, tell me.
I went to Target yesterday and almost bought a Wii U.
Shut
I,
the front door.
I almost did because those games, Super
Okay,
Smash
that
Brothers, I was like,
um
Zelda, stop
Z-
it.
Zelda, exactly. I mean, because you know what? Even if we're not completely in love with the system, which maybe isn't as bad, they have got the games, and you cannot deny
You
that.
can't, you can't.
They do. They've got the games. So I was really excited to see that.
Are you gonna get a Wii? Are you thinking about it now?
No.
Ooh.
Because look,
Ooh.
I know.
On the record, no. You didn't even
I
think about it.
didn't think
No.
about it. I'm sorry. I'm not mad anymore though.
Right. I mean, I just as I'm going because I didn't watch. I watched Xbox's press conference or Microsoft's, and I watched Sony's, but I went back to like news feeds to look at Nintendo's because theirs was kind of early, I guess. But um, every game I was like, okay, Zelda, Super Smash Brothers, like Super Smash Brothers was where I was like, okay, and then when they said Mega Man. I
Hmm.
was like, hey, where Mega Man was in the game, I'm like, oh, this is old school Mega Man too. I'm like, oh, I may have to buy a Wii U. Which, by the way, side note, you can get a Wii U pre-owned right now.
How much?
I don't know, but I know that because a lot of people were disappointed, so they took their
Yeah.
Wii U's back. So I'm about to look up. Keep talking about Wii or keep talking about E3. I'm gonna look up how much it is.
Yeah. So with I'm looking at the games, and a lot of the games. See, Nintendo's great about putting out the games.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got Mario Kart, Donkey Kong Country, which I have for my Wii. Which can I just say I've always loved that silly game with that gorilla.
Yep.
I can't. So Mario Kart, which is so much fun. Super Smash Brothers. Well, that'll be out next year. But oh my gosh, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Talker.
Yes.
I mean, oh my
What was
gosh.
the first one called? Legend of Zelda. When?
It was just this one is the remake of the 2002, and that was originally on the GameCube.
Yes. No. But so is this one being brought? So it's being ported to Wii U.
It's not being ported. I think it's almost like a remake.
Okay.
It's like a remake. Like we've got Mario 3D World, Super Mario 3D World. That's a sequel to Super Mario 3D Land, and that was on 3DS. So I don't know. We have to kind of see what they're going to do, and I know some people, the thought is that their games aren't strong enough to pull the Wii U console out of, out of being so unpopular. But if they did a huge price drop, if people went pre-owned, I can kind of see it, but it's going to be hard because as great as we think their games are, I mean, the competition now is insane.
It's real.
How long have we been waiting for a new Xbox? How long? The 360, it's been, it's been around for a while, but I don't think the hunger for a new Xbox is as strong as the hunger for a new PlayStation, honestly. So I don't know.
I do. Okay, so this is what I did see about Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker was that because there's only two Legend of Zeldas that I beat. Well, three. Um, Link to the Past,
Hmm.
Ocarina of Time. Majora's Mask was too dark for me at that age. I just couldn't. It was too
Right.
serious.
Yeah.
And then Wind Waker, but I beat Wind Waker 5 years ago. So it came out a long time ago, but I beat it
Yeah.
years after that. I loved it, but my biggest complaint, which Nintendo listened, was
Hmm.
that when you're on that boat, it is the slowest thing because you have to travel everywhere via that dragon boat, and it is
Yes.
so slow. So in the new one, I'm reading now that they sped up the speed of the ship,
Okay.
because that's a big deal because you travel everywhere.
And you're waiting, and it's boring. It's boring. If you have to wait too long, it's boring. Like I've said before, we like speed and we like colors and things that pop.
Right.
So if you're waiting for this little boat,
Stop it. When you say it like that,
then
when you say it like that,
it's just kind of something like a hot mess. So I understand that. Well, I'm curious to see. I'd like to see what their year-end sales look like and see if they can hush the critics like myself. And honestly, I have a soft spot for Nintendo. It was what wasn't my first, it was my second game system. So I want them to be successful,
Right. No,
honestly. I've always loved their games. I want them to kind of do well. Maybe I will, I don't know. I'm not gonna get one. I'm sorry.
well, I'm.
You get it first and then let me know.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really, really grateful that you just said that. No, okay. Well, let's talk about the real talk, the real conversation
The
of
real
E3.
talk. Okay.
E3 head to head, Xbox 360 versus
Yes.
PS4.
Yes.
Now, I've never had an Xbox 360 or Xbox in general. I've only had Nintendo or Sony. I
Okay.
love my PS2. I love my PS3. Everything that Sony did made my mouth water.
I almost cried when I saw the console.
Almost.
I saw right. Right.
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna be honest. There were a couple cheers for
I was
a
just
couple games
I
got me
was so,
going.
oh, I know.
We'll
We'll
get to that.
talk
We'll get
about
to that.
that in a second. But I was looking at this console and the breath left my body and I said, must have, must own, it will be mine. Oh yes, it
I
mine.
So let's go down the specs. So the
Let's do that.
PS4 market price is $399, $100 cheaper than the Xbox One.
It doesn't.
CPU. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, but the camera, if you decide to do that, it's not going to be available but it will be available at launch. Is an extra $59. So if you're the type of person who needs to be all in with all
Right.
the equipment in one sitting, you're going to look at about what 450.
Right. So,
So
which is still cheaper than
it is.
an Xbox One. Obviously, it comes with the standard, 1080p 4K display. That's where we're going is the 4K display. HDMI cords are included, which is kind of
That's
cool.
huge.
Now, the drawback was that for the Xbox One, there's an HDMI output and input. The PS4 only has HDMI output, doesn't have input. I'm a
Mhm.
little irked by that. Of course, you said that you have the camera that costs extra. You have streaming. Now this is where we get to the serious differences that make or break whether people are going to stay with Xbox, as the majority of them have somewhat jumped ship. Now, for the PS4, it's not region locked; it's region free. So,
Mhm.
what does that mean? It just basically means that you can play games from any region as long as the developer does not region lock that game.
Which is great,
Yeah,
and it opens some doors.
it opens a lot of doors, especially to games. Maybe if you're a huge PS or like Japanese, you've like a lot of Japanese games that are only sold overseas. You could possibly play those if they're not region locked. Um, and of course, you really can't. I don't think you can't go and get a PS4 from Japan and bring it here.
Right.
I don't think that's like a standard. Like you can't do that. But when it comes to region free, when it comes to the games, obviously, and the opposite could be said for Xbox. It's region locked. Now the more restrictions that we've talked about and everyone's been complaining about, Xbox One used games must be sold through authorized retailers. They have not given more information as to what that means. Game sharing, there's a 30-day limit. So we have to be, Lana, me and you have to be friends on Xbox Live for 30
30
days
days.
before I can give you or you can give me your game.
See,
And there's a
and
limit to one swap per game.
see, I don't. Oh my, these restrictions. I really, 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 really kind of resent it. I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I've got a 360 right now.
Hmm.
I should be able to do once I get a game. I should be able to do whatever I want with it because it's mine.
Right.
If I want to lend my friend a game, then I should be able to do that. And you should not be able to tell me or give me a time limit on that. And you shouldn't be able to tell me how long I have to know. It's just no, I don't like it. I just don't like it. I think it's overreach.
And they're monitoring you, Xbox, by the
I don't like
hour,
it.
because after 24 hours, if you have not been online, you're completely locked out. From what I'm understanding, the game shuts down.
See, I don't like that either.
Like it'll say, due I don't know what's gonna say, but due to, inaccessibility to the internet, you can no longer play this game. Like, are you serious? And then what pisses me off, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little heated. Xbox has been such they have been
It's
so unprofessional about this. They're basically saying, well, if you don't have a good internet connection, you probably should stay with the 360. They're not even pushing you
wow.
to, this is via Twitter, this is
That's a
via
little
statements.
that's a little arrogant.
Yeah, they're like, well, you should stay with, no, you're right. You should stay with a 360. Or maybe you should go with the PS4.
Oh, okay.
So
No problem.
I'm trying to get these quotes exactly. Um, but
One
I can't believe it. Go ahead.
Well, one thing while you're getting that is something that I noticed, and maybe you can help me with. I was looking at some of the specs, and it looks like Xbox One has got built-in wireless with the Wi-Fi, which my 360 has, but it looks like PlayStation has Bluetooth.
So they have
But I didn't
Bluetooth.
see anything with built-in Wi-Fi. Is that, am
Well,
I wrong
I
on
think
that,
you're right. I think
or
you're right about that because um, they had stated Xbox stated a while ago that they wanted to be basically completely wireless. Their dream is to have a completely wireless system
yeah?
that can do everything. I think wireless HDMI. I mean, like all these different like futuristic ideas. And PS4 has never stated that. Of course, they've always been Bluetooth enabled. With the obviously the wireless controllers and all that. But I don't think they're I don't think they're wireless. I have not
Yeah,
seen
and
anything
I
about it.
think that is a huge mistake.
I think so.
I mean, because honestly, there's at this point with the technology that we have, I mean, my Blu-ray player is Wi-Fi.
Hmm.
Okay, so there's really no reason for it to not have wireless. Like I'm a little bit, I mean, Bluetooth, okay, but I'm kind of confused with that.
I think
And
so.
I'm kind of wondering why, so I want to look into that a little bit more and see if maybe that's something that was looked over, or is it really, really, really not wireless? It just seems like it would be,
Yeah, I think that's well. Oh no, well, it's wireless for internet connection.
for internet connection.
Right, so that's a standard. It'll be wireless for internet connection. But when it comes to other things like HDMI, wirelessness, um,
Oh, okay, good.
I don't think Xbox is doing that now, but I know they did talk about it a few months ago. I don't know if that's
Mm.
still possible or what. But when it comes to, I guess then the not I guess another drawback for PS4 is their exclusive titles. They only have, I think, 12 exclusive titles versus
See,
Xbox has, I think, much more than that.
they do. I don't think they're going to come out with the same number of games. And I don't know. I'm wondering how many titles are going to be ready on launch day.
Right,
On
right.
launch day, am I going to be playing stuck with only a catalog of like 10 games? Or, what are we going to have here?
I completely agree. I'm trying to find the list of the. Okay, so they have Blazing Angels, Squadron of World War II, Call of Duty 3, Genji, Days of Blade, Madden. What are these titles? This is they look like that's weird that they look like that.
Hmm.
But they have like I guess total it says 12, but I guess it's 7. But one game that I'm really excited about was what's it called? Well, Infamous Second Son. I'm really, really
Yeah.
excited about that because I played the first two. And The Order, 1886, which is that uh like monster hunting in the
Oh,
1800s.
okay.
It
Oh, that'll
looks
be fun.
it looks really, really good. I mean, there was a teaser trailer, but those are two of the exclusives, including Killzone, Shadowfall, which Killzone's always been really good. Drive Club, Deep Down, and then Knack, which is like that little creature that can like build upon itself. It's a really, really colorful game, really flashy, and I'm really excited to play that. I'm really excited to play a bunch of these games. So what I did was the very next day I pre-ordered my PS4, but I didn't get any games with it.
Okay.
I just got the PS4.
Well, I haven't pre-ordered the PS4, but I will. I'll have
Well,
it on. Well, I know Amazon is shut down. You
Amazon
can't.
has, according to their website, so
Yeah.
they have a launch edition and then they have a standard edition. It's just so stupid.
What is the difference between the two?
This is so dumb. Xbox does too. They have a launch edition, which is sold out. That's what's closed. Which means you will get your system on launch day.
I see. Okay,
And
okay.
then if you get the standard edition, you'll get it December 31st. No.
Well, uh,
No. You can pre-order from Best Buy, Walmart, GameStop, Amazon.
yeah, there are so many different avenues to pre-order. I'm not,
Right.
I'll probably just do my little GameStop.
I did GameStop because the minimum was $100 at GameStop, I believe, for the Xbox and for the PS4.
Mhm.
But I'm just gonna pay like $100 every few weeks, and then it'll have it paid off. The funny thing is, when the GameStop in my neighborhood, I walked in and he said that he had about 15 people that came in so far. I went in on my lunch break, and I said, "Well, how many people bought PS or Xbox?" He said 2 people.
Whoa.
I was like,
I'm telling
"Oh."
you, look, I'm telling you. PS, okay, predictions. Who's going to outsell? I'm going to predict Sony is going to sell more units than Microsoft.
I'll believe that. Amazon has put out numbers saying that they're selling 3-2 PS4.
Oh my gosh, I love watching this. This is exciting to me. This is like
And it's a big. And then looking at the statistics also from Amazon that they've released, the number one system on Amazon.com is PS4. The number two system is Xbox One. The number three system is PS4.
whoa.
Yeah, so the first one is the launch edition. The second one and the third one is the standard edition, and then Xbox One. Xbox One, by the way, if you want to, you can go get an Xbox One on Amazon right now, launch edition or standard edition. They have not sold out or reached capacity. FYI, this is as of 20. This is as of 20 minutes ago. You can go get an Xbox One wherever. They have not, but a PS4, I put my money down the next day. But yeah, that's just okay. So let's talk about some of these moments during PS4's announcement. So
Tell me, I want you to take this
you want me to
and
take you on my journey?
yes, this is your time and I need for the people to understand.
Okay,
So
so I am a stop laughing at me. I am a huge, 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 huge Square Enix fan. Like beyond a shadow of a doubt, I am probably the number one fan. Um, I have owned or at least played every Square Enix game that as an American can get their hands on legally.
right.
And I'm trying to think of the year. Shoot, I don't even know. 10 years ago, PS2. There was a game that came out called Kingdom Hearts. And that game was the best game I've ever played to this day. Now, Kingdom Hearts 1 came out, and I couldn't believe how cool this game was. This is when I was reading GamePro magazine. Like, this was a long time ago. And I was like, what game is this? Like, you have Square Enix, or at the time, Squaresoft, partnering with Disney, and it's like this Final Fantasy-esque game with Disney characters as your teammates, and Goofy and Donald. And I just loved it. I loved everything about it. Keyblades. I just thought it was the coolest thing, the coolest concept. And it was made by Tetsuya Nomura, who is the director, and I think he is the originator of Final Fantasy, if I'm not mistaken. But they did that a couple years later. They came out with Kingdom Hearts 2. That game was a little bit more streamlined or a little bit more linear, which I don't really like. A lot of these games like Watch Dogs are starting to get very free world, open world. The new Metal Gear Solid is open world. A lot of games are pushing towards that. But this game was kind of linear, and I really didn't enjoy that, but I still love the foundation of the game. Well, for the past 7 years or 8, Square Enix has been coming out with all these side stories, prequels, half sequels, not true sequels, for Game Boy and Nintendo DS. And I have bought Nintendo DS's and PSPs just to play this game. Just to play this
Hmm.
game.
Wow.
Seriously. And I would beat the game and I would take them back. That is how much I am obsessed with Kingdom Hearts. I would buy the system to play the game to take it back. Most recent example, Nintendo 3DS. I bought a Nintendo 3DS just to play Kingdom Hearts 3D because it was a true bridge between Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3. They came out. Tetsuya said it was. He confirmed it was. I played the game. It is, in fact, a true bridge. When I got finished with the game, I took it back. I took the Nintendo 3DS back. I didn't want it because I don't. There's nothing else I want on that game, on that
Mm-hmm.
system.
You just wanted the game.
I just
Yeah.
wanted the game. So of course there were rumors that, you know. Oh, and side note, as much as I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan, I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. So when Final Fantasy 13 came out and they were talking about 13 verses, and I was all about that. I was all about that life. And they kept saying, that they kept saying that they scratched the project because for whatever reason, financial reasons, I don't know. Tetsuya was another project, whatever. But they kept coming out. They came out with Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 13 2, and then Final Fantasy 13 3. And I was like, okay, where's Versus? So they said that they scrapped the project. So when whoever was up there talking at E3 for PS4 and the screen faded to Square Enix, I almost flipped this table over.
Oh.
I almost flipped this table over because and when Tetsuya came on that screen, I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my
you
god.
didn't want to hope too hard, but you knew.
Ooh, I was
you
like, but it's Kingdom
something.
Hearts, it's Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
And then when they started showing the scenes from Final Fantasy 13 verses, I was like, okay, this is cool. I really want to play this game too. Okay, I'm so excited. And then when it said Final Fantasy 13 verses and it exploded and it was like Final Fantasy 15. I was like, yes. But I'm okay. I'm like my palate is almost satisfied. But when he came back and he's speaking in Japanese, he's like, but we have one more trailer. I screamed so loud. I screamed so loud. And oh my god, I can see it like it was yesterday.
I can feel it right
when
now.
I can't even talk. When the sand from that beach, when the Keyblade, woo! I'm sorry, your listeners, your ears, but I freaked out. And you saw Sora grab, oh my god, he grabbed that Keyblade, and I was like, oh! And all it was like 20 seconds. And there was no action. There was no true, it was rendered, it was pre-rendered. But I don't care.
Yeah.
Because this game has been talked about for years, and I have prayed for this game. Now, Tetsuya did come out and say post E3 that this was very early. He said the reason that they decided to show the actual teaser was because there's such a high demand for it, and I was like, that's fine, but just to let me know that y'all are even working on it.
Yes.
It's all I need in my life.
Yes.
That's all I need. So for me, sorry, Lana, I know I'm like, this is like the Matt show. But for me, the true moment was that 5 minutes. Or I guess the Final Fantasy trailer was like 7 minutes, but that 10 minutes. And when that screen went black and it said Square Enix, I wanted to Sparta kick my life.
I love it.
I was so I will buy a PS, and if they said it was, and this is the sad thing, if they said it was only for Xbox, I would have went and bought an Xbox.
And I know you. Wow.
I would have bought an Xbox because I have to play that game. But since it's for PS4, of course, I'm gonna buy it. So I'm sorry, listeners. I'm so sorry. Let me step back. I'm off my soapbox.
I'm gonna give you a minute. I am.
Okay.
Just
let's move on.
I'm gonna give you a minute because we both saw something.
Okay.
And you've got me excited for Kingdom Hearts. So, but anyways,
right.
We saw something yesterday. And I don't know Matt's opinion. Really. He doesn't really know everything that I think about it. So I'm excited to talk about this right now. So I had the immense pleasure and the joy of sitting through a little movie that we like to call Man of Steel.
#MOS. Because that's all I've been doing on Twitter is talking about the movie and like this hashtag.
I'm just going to say, okay, and This is hard for me because I'm gonna do it like this. I went in. I love Superman. If you've listened to any of the previous podcasts, then you know.
Mm-hmm.
I love soups. That's my boo boo. Okay. So I was going into this thinking, oh, yeah, it'll probably be good. I was like, okay, we're going to go do this.
Right.
And oh, spoiler alert, we will be talking about the movie. If you haven't seen it and you don't want to know, you might want to skip ahead 10 minutes. Just saying.
I'm just now hearing about this, and I'm okay with it.
Okay. So I know, right?
I'm not mad at it. So you've been warned.
So the first, and I'm going out on the first 15 minutes of
Mm-hmm.
this movie made it made it better than any of the other previous Superman movies. Yes, I said it.
Now, when you say previous Superman movies, you mean even?
One, two,
Oh wow,
three,
Christopher
four,
Reeves.
and I love Chris, but he was a Superman of a different time.
Okay,
Look,
okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I didn't hate Superman Returns. I was kind of like, meh, whatever. I'm not emotionally attached. I was emotionally attached to Christopher Reeve. I still am.
Mm-hmm.
I don't look at the success or the popularity or the greatness of MOS
Right.
as anything bad against what we had for the first Superman movies. I mean, Superman 4 was my favorite. I loved Superman 1 and 2. 3 was but Superman 1 and 2 I thought were really good. Christopher Reeve was bomb. He was excellent.
Right.
Loved him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But for the new generation of movies that we have right now, I'm just going to say without, that the background story. It's the story. And yes, there are a lot of nitpicking. There's a lot of nitpickers. Well, how did this person get here? And blah, blah. I just don't care. Sometimes nerds defeat themselves.
Don't we? We're our own
And
worst critics.
sometimes you need to pull back, look at it as a whole, and say, just did you like it? Doesn't really matter if things made sense or not. Doesn't really matter if you could really teleport here in 10 seconds or get here in 5 seconds or blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like it?
Mm.
I liked it. Okay?
Did you like it or did you love it?
I loved it.
Okay. I just want to be sure.
Because the backstory that we had on Krypton. First of all, Russell Crowe. having Russell, because at first I was like, okay, Russell Crowe, Kevin Costner, how are they going to do this? I had no idea. They released so much in the movie online. I really tried to stay away from the spoilers. I really didn't want to know a lot about what was going to happen. So just having them, I'm like, how are they going to use Russell Crowe? They did a fantastic job
Mm-hmm.
with Jor-El, and getting to see him in the movie. And oh my gosh, his consciousness. Oh my.
You see, I'm letting you speak. I'm just gonna let you get it all out.
I'm sorry. I have to. Okay.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Just the backstory of Krypton and just what really happened, and seeing that and see it gave me an emotional attachment to Laura and Jor-El that I had never had before, because
Right.
before I was kind of like, oh yeah, whatever, they're dead. I didn't have a really good grasp on who Kryptonians were and what type of people they were. They weren't some, peaceful space-faring colony that just wanted to have no, they had some serious stuff going on. They were growing people. There was genetic manipulation.
Yep. Predetermination.
Predetermination. This is what you're born for. This is what you're going to do. This is your role. I mean, my goodness. Just the philosophical, and okay. And then I like the way, at first it kind of bugged me, but then I got used to the way the movie was filmed.
Mm-hmm.
He started off, he's an adult, he's a kid, he's an adult, he's a kid. But that's okay. We had to get away from just watching him grow up, because that would have been boring. We've done it already.
Right.
Okay, we watched him grow up from a little boy. We don't need to really do it like that again. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of found myself appreciating the way we saw pivotal points in his life and important things that happened. I thought the relationship between him and Jonathan Kent was very interesting and eye opening, and it was a little bit different.
Yep.
And the length that Jonathan was willing to go to protect his son.
That's fair.
Okay.
Yep.
And the action. Okay. I'm going to let you talk because I need a minute.
Oh, and that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. let me gather my life.
Well, wait, the score. I'm
Keep
sorry.
going. I was keep no. Keep going.
The score, I
Mm-hmm.
was filled with emotion as I was listening to the score. I mean, it was beautiful. I like the soundtrack pieces that they did, and oh my gosh, I don't want to skip just the action. Okay, some of when a couple of the action sequences I thought were a little bit long and they could have been cut down a little bit.
Right. Which ones? Do you know? Do you remember?
With the giant robot looking thing and the chick and yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not big on names. Okay, so whatever. But that could have been maybe cut in half, but it goes back to when the priest told him sometimes, what did he say? Sometimes faith comes before trust.
Right.
And so when he goes and he's fighting and he's like, you're trying to kill me, but I'm going to show you that I'm good and I'm going to show you that I'm here to protect you. I mean, I was like, wow, he really put it on the line. So our military shooting at him. He's getting beat up by Zod and his cronies, and he still didn't know how to fight because let's keep it real. He was strong, but yeah, Zod was right. He grew up on a farm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't know jujitsu, he did not know snake and crane. He was just doing it the best way he could.
Right.
So that moment with shout out to Christopher Maloney, I was so happy to see him in the film. When
Yeah.
he was told, "You are not our enemy," or "This man is not our enemy,"
Mm-hmm.
and he just said, "Thank you." I was done.
I
It was
gotta
a
go.
oh, okay, okay. No, okay, go. On your mark, say go.
Test, test. I just want to make sure this mic is on. All right. So, as you all know, I am Team Marvel all day,
All day, every day, baby.
except for the Hulk.
Right.
So, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to the Twitter feed because we had some nice conversations last night. Um, so, I shouldn't have said that. Okay, so I had to see the movie because I had to see the movie.
Right, basically.
Basically, now I did not see Superman Returns. I have not. I don't plan on seeing Superman Returns. I will never see Superman Returns.
You don't need to.
Not because I don't. I mean, I did want to see it when it came out, but it got such bad reviews, and everyone around me, including you, Lana, have
Mm-hmm.
said on the record, "Don't see that movie. Don't see it. It's just not. It's just not good." And so I didn't see it. I have not seen a Superman movie since Christopher Reeves. So going into this movie, I was going in as someone that has never read a Superman comic. I have not seen a Superman movie. Yeah, I've seen Justice League and shows and all that, but I have no tangible emotion or empathy towards the character. So I guess that's like my bonus. So I'm not sitting there like, oh, they messed up this or they messed up that or,
Mm-hmm.
these Kryptonians are actually this and all that. So everything was really fresh for me. Russell Crowe, excellent, excellent. His father, his excellence, Kal-El's father, and Kevin Costner, excellent character. I love the dynamics between him and the wife or the mother. It was just overall the character, like the casting. Let's talk about the casting. The casting was very well
Yes,
done to
I
me,
love
in my
it.
opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was very tasteful. The action scenes from start to finish were to me flawless.
Flawless.
I was so enthralled with all of the action scenes,
Yes.
how immature Superman was in his skill.
Mm-hmm.
And I did like the progression of how, even him learning how to fly, it didn't seem rushed. It seemed kind of natural because anyone in that state, when you know you can do it, you want to do it. So, he's jumping like 500 feet and all of a sudden he's flying and then he fails and he tries again and he succeeds.
Yes.
I mean, things like that were really, really cool and fluid for me. And I really did like it. The final battle scene with him and Zod, impeccable. I just
Mm-hmm.
thought it was just, I mean, I had chills coming down my spine. Like,
Oh
I don't
my gosh.
understand because they'll do a sequel, so I don't understand how
Well, yeah.
Metropolis is going to be. There's no way, no way that there is a Metropolis in the next movie.
Well, you have to remember by the end of the movie, he was walking into the Daily Planet.
Mm, that's true.
So, and that was one of the nitpicky things because I did read some other opinions about it, and a lot of it was, how far in the future is he walking into the Daily Planet after
Really,
all the destruction? Metropolis was completely destroyed.
right? And I can't believe that the Daily Planet is still up.
Yeah, exactly. So the whole, the buildings are coming down, everything was coming down, and that's what it was. And also dealing with Zod, in Superman, we did say spoiler alert, Superman snapping his neck like that was very controversial because one of the basic tenets of Superman's credo is that he does not kill.
Now, did he? But did he kill Zod in the Christopher Reeves version?
No, they were all sent back to the Phantom Zone and he did
Oh,
not kill him. So this was definitely, definitely different. But it was either slice those people in half with the death ray
mm-hmm.
or kill him.
Yeah.
So
It
choice.
completely caught me off guard when he did. I was like, oh,
So the reports I read from some of our friends were that some theaters clapped. My theater did not clap when that happened. There was silence. There were gasps. I know. I was like, because if you know Superman, that pretty much goes against everything that he stands for.
right.
So it was I was just silent. I was like, I was stunned. I was absolutely stunned.
Yeah, I honestly I liked it, but I think it's because and this is where my con comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like the combination of Nolan and Man of Steel.
Really? Tell me.
Okay. And I'm not really well versed in Superman, so this is just coming from someone that is out of that universe, but I did love Batman as a kid. I watched him growing up, and
Uh huh.
I love that he was very dark. And I think Christopher Nolan has always made very dark movies, so I feel like him and Batman really spoke to each other. Batman's story and him really collided. Versus Superman's life isn't that hard. I
Right.
mean, it's not dark. It's not a dark life. I mean, yeah, you have Doomsday and all that, but overall, his life is not dark. And I feel
Yeah.
like Christopher Nolan took on this almost Dark Knight Rises wannabe ish, trying to make his life really dark and always kind of sad. And I didn't, and there was, and another thing was that there was no comedy. Like, there was little comedy, or little humor. And that for me was, I don't want to say turn off, but it just seemed like he was trying to reach for Dark Knight too much. And instead of letting Superman, I'm trying to say this right, instead of let Superman really develop his own story, um, I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like that tone.
And it's interesting because none of the Superman movies in the past, I mean, they weren't really ever too fun. It wasn't as serious as what we saw, but it was always pretty serious.
Okay.
So it was never, even in the comics, I mean, every once in a while you'd have a part, but it was never very humorous because Clark's character, he was always dealing with so much,
Mm-hmm.
and Kal-El was always dealing with so much that there really wasn't too much time for that. It was never really like that. And I think I don't know. I personally I was ready for the change. I just wanted more. I wanted a little more depth,
Okay.
but we didn't see Kal-El talk too much.
I know.
I mean, if you look at the movie, there wasn't a lot of conversation. So, although I felt we got a rich story,
hmm
I would have liked to hear a little bit more about his inner thought process and what he really, really thought about stuff because I feel like that's lacking. I
Yeah,
feel like it was lacking. And I almost feel like I have to go see it again, which I probably will,
I want to.
just to kind of reabsorb everything because I was in awe so much and there was so much going on that, I couldn't, I just feel like I need to see more.
I think I would agree with you on that. I do want to see the movie again. And overall, I really did enjoy the movie. Someone on Twitter had mentioned that it was better than the Avengers. And I'm not trying to get into a DC versus Marvel thing. I'm just getting into it from a viewer perspective.
Yes,
I think Avengers is one of the best movies I've ever seen. But
basically.
the reason I liked it was because it teetered the line between serious and humor.
Yes.
And you always knew that the characters were in danger, but Joss Whedon just really manipulated the story so well and weaved the story so well that the light humor was constant, but not annoying. And the
Mm-hmm.
seriousness was constant, but it wasn't dark.
Right.
So it really teetered that line. And I feel like I just didn't know how to feel. When I watched Superman, I guess that was my problem. I didn't know how to feel. Like, I didn't know if it should be super serious or if it should be, if I should not be taking it serious. I don't know because he's Superman. I mean, he's the strongest man in the world. Like, one of the strongest men in the universe. Like, I don't know. Maybe when they do Doomsday, which I'm sure they will.
Oh my gosh, if we can just get Doomsday, we can get Darkseid. I really, they started off with Zod. He's a well-known villain. I really don't care about seeing Lex Luthor or anything in the next one. Unless for the Justice League movie, they might be saving Darkseid and Lashina
Mm-hmm.
and Highfather. All those people. They might be saving it for Justice League, which I can see because it really would. With the villain like that, you kind of need everybody. So I don't know.
But
I mean,
Doomsday is only Superman. Like, no one else was around, right?
with from what I've
The
seen, what I
first, the
can
original
remember,
encounter.
yeah, yeah. And I want to see a villain that we haven't seen in any Superman movie. I just,
I think that's, yeah. Because I feel
I
like,
really do. Let's do something different. Let's change it up.
but I can see, I could, well, one, shout out to the LexCorp plug at the end of the movie.
Right. Yeah.
Um, I saw that and I was like, oh, that guy. Um, but I could see them doing, Lex Luthor in the next one, and then Doomsday in the third one, like they did for Dark Knight,
Hmm.
having his Bane.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
I mean, I overall I would recommend this movie. I would tell people to see it, but I just didn't like. I shouldn't say I didn't like, but it's something about Nolan taking on this movie right after Dark Knight
Hmm. You
came
think?
off a little forced to me.
Well, you know what I read for I was reading some info for the second Superman that they're releasing because they fast tracked it because this one has made so much money.
hmm
Is that Nolan is going to be producing, but his hands aren't going to be in it as much as this one.
Okay.
So I think we're going to see maybe a little bit of a different Superman from, something that's completely Zack
But I
Snyder.
hope they
So
don't. I hope they don't change it too much though, because then it may come
yeah,
off as a reboot within a reboot within a reboot.
I'm thinking that it'll be maybe a perfect balance.
I hope so. I mean, I will still see the next one. That's a fact. And I didn't, but I did enjoy it. If I had to rate this movie, and I'm gonna ask you the same, Lana. If I had to rate this movie, I would give it an honest 8 out of 10.
I would give it an honest 10.
10. You would give it a 10. I'm glad you
10.
would give it a 10.
10.
No, I thought it was good, and I understand why you would say that. I completely understand that. I just, there was action. The action was flawless.
I thought the relationship between Cal and Lois was a
I was
little.
gonna say Amy Adams. I love Amy Adams.
I mean, I like her. She's the first Lois that hasn't just bugged me to death. But I thought their romance, quote unquote, that was a little forced.
That
There was,
makeout scene at the end was so forced.
I was like,
Ugh.
what? I was like, where did that come from? I could see a hug. I could see, some type of thank you kiss. I think that would have been more realistic than full on tonsil hockey.
I was actually hoping that Zod would interrupt them.
That would have been awesome.
Because I'm like, okay, because you want to tease that. You want to tease that love interest. I mean,
Yeah. And just if they would have just had friends for this one, then moving on to something more would have definitely been more believable later
yeah,
on.
yeah. So overall, I would recommend, I'm sure Lana would too, recommend that we all watch it, go see it again.
Let
Um,
us know what you think about
yes,
it.
yes. Now, let's move on to our blurred of the week. So we have been going back and forth. I've reached out to Twitter people, Twit fam, Twitterverse,
Damn, twits,
uh,
twits.
to see who we should do, and we got some really good suggestions, which I would gladly take into account next week. I have a really good suggestion from Nerdy Something. Shout out to Nerdy Something. He had a really good suggestion for our blur of the week. But this week, since we're talking about E3 and the entertainment and video games, we're going to talk about someone who you may not know, and that's Joseph Salter. Am I saying his name right?
Yes, you are Joseph
He
Salter.
is the CEO of Entertainment Arts Research Inc. and he has been tabbed with the name of being the Spike Lee of the gaming industry. As an African American and a game developer, and I don't know if anyone knows this, and this may not be widespread news, but only 2% of all game developers are African American. But we, as African Americans and as the Hispanic minority, make up a majority of video game buyers and players in almost all genres. I mean, it doesn't matter basketball or sports, fighting games, RPGs. We make up that huge demographic while, it's a complete opposite for designers and characters inside of games. So he's really trying to break into the industry and really trying to change and, as he calls, urbanize the gaming industry. So far, he has a program out called the Urban Video Game Academy that was established in 2005. He made a huge and groundbreaking announcement at E3 in 2005, and so far he's been working with Harvard Study Group, Harvard University Study Group, and he's partnering with EA to go to inner city schools to really promote technology, really promote the gaming industry, and really promote urbanizing the gaming industry.
Yes, and I think what's interesting is that it's one thing to be interested in video games, and it's one thing to say, "Oh, I want to make video games," but there is a lot of skill that a lot of these kids they don't have the access to the supplies, they don't have access to the types of classes that you need to learn how to code, and that is something that's really really huge. And with the Urban Video Game Academy, they'll be able to do that. I just think it's really really wonderful.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing, and he has his own game because he talked about how most people develop, and we know this story from Microsoft to Apple, building computers out of your garage, dropping out of college, and look where they are now. You have all these garage apps and garage application software, and he is developing his own garage product. I mean, he's there in quotations. It codenamed Firewire Code 22, and it debuts on iOS this summer. I think July, he stated. But it's a parkour game, and a parkour game, for people that don't know, which is really exciting to watch. I mean, live, it's
Oh, sorry.
free running. People run over walls and jump
Jump
buildings, and
and all kind of stuff, and it's really, I mean, dangerous but very cool to to look.
dangerous, but very cool.
Yeah, and also something else that he's doing that I'm even more excited about than his July debut is a game that he's developing that takes place on the south side of Chicago in the mid 20th century.
Yes.
So I am all over this, and I will definitely be looking at this and waiting for it and try to find out more information about it, because I guess it's going to include maybe the Black community, jazz. Like, how are we going to have a game out of that? So I'm super, super excited.
And the thing that I love about it is, and I'm so glad you brought that up. And the reason I'm excited about it is because you hear nothing but negative feedback about the South Side of Chicago. So I think that, you know, having something, especially in a game, a video game that takes place and really provides and really drives the history of the black community in terms of jazz and arts and revolutions from that period of time, I think it would be a really, really cool thing. And I would gladly support it. I think what he's doing is really cool. I think he is promoting awareness and integration into video
Video
games.
games.
And I think hopefully we will see his name, and also we'll tweet out his name. We'll tweet out Joseph Salter and links to his information, which I'm gonna start doing every week. We'll start tweeting out information about Joseph Salter, or any of our Blurred of the Weeks, or any other content that we may find, just in case you want to read up on it or get further information.
Yeah, that would be great.
So definitely look out and shout out. Definitely look out and give a huge shout out to Joseph Salter. I hope he's on Twitter because he
Please.
is doing big things with his company. I want to say Electronic Arts, but that's not it. He's partnering with EA, but his company, Entertainment Arts Research, and
Yeah.
the Urban Academy, Urban Video Game Academy. So shout out to Joseph Salter.
Well, that was our blurred of the week. Awesome. And now I guess it is time to wrap up.
Well, how do you feel? Do you feel satisfied from this week, Lana?
I feel satisfied. Yeah,
I
I
feel.
do. I think that we covered a lot of great material, and there was so much to talk about. Comic Con information is coming out rapidly, so look for an update from us soon about that.
Yes.
But yeah, I feel satisfied. I think we've covered everything that is pertinent that we need to have covered.
Yeah, starting next week, guys, in preparation for Comic Con, we will be doing a lot of information about Comic Con. Everything is coming out very rapidly. The schedule for sure does not release until July 4th.
Yes.
For all like a list of all confirmations, who's going to be where. But things are slowly, I wouldn't say leaking, they're doing it on purpose, but networks are slowly confirming who's going to be where and what they're going to be doing or what they're going to be promoting. So we'll definitely keep up to that. Stay up on our Twitter at Blurred Nerd. We're always on there. We had a huge conversation yesterday with people about Superman, about the Hulk, about Aquaman doing his own movie, which is stupid.
We don't really need to do
We
that.
don't really need to do that. About
And
Wonder Woman, we talked about Wonder Woman for a while too. About people wanted her to do a movie, but Amazon, the show is codenamed Amazon. CW has ordered the pilot. That was a year ago, and they're holding on
they
to it.
did it, and well, they're holding on to it, but it was kind of a hot mess, and so that's why they didn't run with it after they had shot it. And it's funny because it was pretty much almost guaranteed that we were going to have a Wonder Woman pilot, but I almost think that we need to do a movie. I don't want to see a show.
But my thing is,
I want to see.
if you can make Arrow successful, not saying that show is bad. I do watch it, but if you can make Arrow successful, he's not even special. Like,
I know, but Wonder Woman, she's one of the big three, and I feel like she needs her own movie. She is one of the three heads of the Justice League. So I'm like, if Superman can get a movie and Batboy can get a movie,
not bad boy.
then the Amazon can get a movie. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like,
I think that's a very fair statement. I hope it'd be cool because I would like to learn more about DC, and I'm getting more into DC and the comics. But
and then
um,
we're into Marvel.
right, right. I love me some Marvel, but Lana has really, really opened my eyes. I mean, seriously. I mean, I really do enjoy the DC comics that I'm reading, and I want to read more. But we'll definitely talk more about Amazon, or I shouldn't say Amazon, but definitely talk more about Wonder Woman. Very much be talking more about Comic Con starting next week. Like I said, give us any feedback. Make sure you go on iTunes or YouTube. We'll be posting these. Well, now as you hear them, they'll be on YouTube and iTunes. Please rate, please subscribe, please give us any feedback, and we'll be back every week. So don't get tired of us. You'll love us.
Yeah, spread the nerd.
What is that? What did you just say?
Huh?
Did you say spread la nerd? I guess that works.
Oh my
I guess
god.
that works. Am I
You
making
say
fun of you today? Am I making fun of you today a
yeah.
lot?
But that's okay because I'm still in Man of Steel land.
Okay. That's fine. Well, like as Lana said, spread la nerd, because that's what we do. So spread the nerd, guys, and we'll be back next week. All right, have a good week.
Ta ta.